I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Tiffany Henyard's political career has been a wild ride, but the latest chapter, it's nothing short of jaw-dropping. Picture this, the mayor of a small town, caught up in a web of corruption, lies, and scandal, and now her own boyfriend has stepped into the spotlight to expose her darkest secrets. So yes, you heard that right. Henyard's trusted partner, the person who was supposed to be in her corner, has flipped the script and is now testifying against her in court. And if that wasn't enough to stir the pot, the FBI is on her case, investigating every move she's made. So the big question, will Henyard be able to survive this political earthquake, or is this the end of her reign in Dolton?
New drama tonight involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a scheduled meeting.
Let's dive into the drama that's shaken up not just Dolton, but the entire political scene around her. Henyard's downfall didn't happen overnight. It's been building up for a while, with rumors swirling about her questionable decisions and a growing list of accusations. But things took a sharp turn when her boyfriend stepped into the courtroom. This was the moment when everything really started to unravel. So imagine the shock in that room. When he took the stand, people in the courtroom must have been thinking, wait, what? This was the guy who knew her best, who had stood by her side, and now he was revealing everything. The betrayal was real, and it hit hard.
I'm a private investigator. I've got some witnesses from here. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Roland District of Illinois.
So he didn't hold back either. His testimony was the kind that leaves you wondering how someone in power could make such reckless decisions. According to what he said, Henyard had been dipping into public funds for her personal expenses. So we're not talking about minor slip-ups here. He claimed she used taxpayers' money to pay for lavish dinners, luxury shopping sprees, and even trips that had nothing to do with her official duties as mayor. Can you imagine? While Dolton is struggling financially, with a deficit in the millions, its mayor was allegedly living the high life on the residents' dime.
Very appreciative to have received the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
But it doesn't stop there. He also dropped the bombshell that Henyard had been taking bribes from local businesses. That's right, bribery. Apparently, she'd been making some backdoor deals with contractors and developers, giving them favorable treatment in exchange for personal payoffs. This paints a pretty ugly picture of a politician who's supposed to be working for the people, but instead seems to be working for herself. So let's pause for a moment to consider how things have gotten to this point. Henyard wasn't always the mayor of Dolton. She started out as a trustee on the village board, building up her reputation as someone who was willing to take on big challenges. So when she was elected as mayor, it was a historic moment. She was the first woman to hold that position in Dolton, and for a while, it seemed like she might really shake things up for the better. But as we've seen time and again with politicians, power can bring out the worst in people. And for Henyard, that's exactly what happened.
Also new tonight, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is suing some village trustees over Monday's meeting.
So the accusations against her started slowly at first. There were whispers about mismanagement and conflicts with the village trustees. But as the months went by, the rumors started turning into real problems. She made some highly controversial appointments to important positions in Dolton, like the police chief and village attorney, without getting approval from the village board, which she's legally required to do. These appointments were blocked by a judge, but Henyard didn't seem to care. She kept pushing forward, trying to consolidate more and more power, which made people wonder, what's her end game here?
Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
And it's not like the village trustees were just sitting back and letting this happen. They've been fighting Henyard every step of the way, filing lawsuits and blocking her appointments. One of the biggest legal battles they've been fighting is over the village meetings. Henyard has been trying to hold meetings in Village Hall, but the trustees moved them to the Park District building because Village Hall just doesn't have the space to hold all the people who want to attend. So the tension at these meetings has been off the charts, and Henyard has even been booed out of the room at times. It's like watching a real-life soap opera.
Tiffany Henyard making a late appearance at the Dolton Village Board meeting this evening. That meeting was being held at the Park District building since Village Hall cannot legally accommodate the crowds at a typical meeting.
In fact, during one recent meeting, Henyard showed up late, tried to take the floor, and was mercilessly jeered until she had to leave. So trustees have been calling her out for trying to run things her way, without following the rules. And Henyard's response? She's filed a lawsuit claiming the trustees are holding illegal meetings with pure chaos.
Mayor took steps to correct those things that the Attorney General required. And so we believe that for that reason, the meeting was supposed to have been here.
This drama has now reached a whole new level with the FBI getting involved. Federal investigators don't just jump into local politics for fun. When the FBI steps in, you know things are serious. So they're reportedly looking into whether Henyard misused federal funds, which would be a massive blow to her career if proven true. It's not just Henyard who's under scrutiny either. Her entire inner circle is being looked at. Subpoenas have been flying, and everyone close to her, from her political allies to her personal connections, is now part of the investigation.
Called our security firm, we made sure they had wands, and we also told our board to come upstairs due to the fact they had several ways to exit out of the building.
It's worth mentioning here that Henyard isn't just the mayor of Dolton. She's also the supervisor of Thornton Township, a role she took on after she was elected mayor. So this means her influence extends beyond Dolton. And the FBI is reportedly looking at both Dolton and Thornton towns just to see just how deep the corruption might go. Is it just Henyard, or is this part of a larger, more systemic issue? That's what everyone wants to know right now. So the financial problems Henyard has caused are no small potatoes either. Let's break down what former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation revealed. So Lightfoot was brought in to take a closer look at Dolton's finances, and what she found was shocking. Henyard had been using the Village credit card to make purchases at places like Amazon, Target, and Walgreens. Sounds pretty innocent, right? But when you realize she was spending tens of thousands of dollars on these purchases, you start to see the bigger picture. One day alone, she spent over $43,000 on Amazon. But what could she possibly have needed that would cost that much in a single day?
Or the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily...
Lightfoot's investigation also uncovered some pretty shady practices when it came to overtime pay for certain employees, particularly in the police department. One officer was reportedly paid over $100,000 in overtime, more than their base salary. People started asking the obvious question: how is this possible in a village that's already over $5 million in debt? So the money just doesn't add up, and residents are furious. They're wondering how much of this financial mess is because of Henyard's reckless spending. Speaking of residents, they haven't been quiet about their feelings on all of this. If you take a look at the comments on social media, it's clear that the people of Dolton are fed up. One comment sums up the mood perfectly: it's just a matter of time. Karma's waiting for her. How does she sleep at night? Another commenter had a more cynical take on the situation, saying, "What's funny is almost all politicians do what she did. She just wasn't smart enough not to get caught." It's a grim view, but there's some truth to it. Corruption in politics isn't exactly new, but Henyard's downfall is happening in such a public, messy way that it's impossible to ignore.
You got the clickbait, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all stop it.
But how did we get here? How Tiffany Henyard, the first woman to serve as mayor of Dolton, go from a promising leader to someone who's now fighting to stay out of jail? To understand that, we need to take a look at her past.
Board meetings, one held at Village Hall, one held at a park district, and now there's a lawsuit, and I talked to the attorneys for both sides.
Henyard's rise to power was quick, but it wasn't without controversy. Even before she became mayor, there were whispers about her tactics. She was known for playing dirty, using her position as a trustee to push her own agenda and silence her critics. To rumors swirled that she had close ties to some unsavory characters and was willing to do whatever it took to climb the political ladder. Some even claimed she had hired people to intimidate her rivals, though those accusations were never proven.
Here to appoint my police chief,
When she was elected mayor in 2021, it seemed like she had left those rumors behind. She won by a landslide, with over 80% of the vote, and it looked like she was going to shake things up in Dolton. Maybe it didn't take long for the old accusations to resurface. People started to notice that Henyard was making some questionable decisions, especially when it came to who she was appointing to key positions in the village.
Of court, the judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
One of the most controversial moves she made was appointing her close ally, Michael Shai, as the village administrator. So the problem? There was already a village administrator, Shketa Freeman, who hadn't been fired. Henyard tried to push through Smith's appointment without the approval of the trustees, which led to a major legal battle. A judge eventually ruled that Henyard didn't have the authority to make the appointment, but by then, the damage had been done. It was clear that Henyard was willing to bend, if not break, the rules to get her way. And that brings us to her most recent move, running for re-election. Yes, despite all of the chaos surrounding her, Henyard has announced that she's running for a second term as mayor. But she's even gone so far as to say that the people of Dolton will give her their overwhelming support and mandate. It's a bold claim, especially given the fact that she's under federal investigation and facing multiple lawsuits. But Henyard doesn't seem to be backing down. In fact, She's doubling down on her claims that the accusations against her are all part of a politically motivated smear campaign.
I want to thank my two trustees, Trustee Andrew Holmes and Trustee Stan Brown, for showing up.
In her defense, Henyard has framed the situation as a battle between her and a corrupt board of trustees. She's accused the trustees of trying to subvert the will of the people and claims that they're the ones responsible for the financial mismanagement in Jolton. Her attorney has echoed these claims, saying that Henyard is being targeted because she's a woman in power who's trying to clean up the town. Whether or not people believe that is another story. So what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard finished, or does she still have a chance to turn things around? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's see where this story goes next.